Hey everyone, we're jumping right into it today. We're doing a deep dive on a wildfire. It's actually happening right now, right here in Los Angeles, in Pacific Palisades.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, thousands of people are evacuating as we speak. And, well, we're going to do what we do, right? We're going to go deeper than just the headlines. Try to figure out, like, what's happening on the ground and why this is such a big deal. I mean, this fire's intense, right?
Oh, absolutely. And, it's just incredible to see how fast this thing is spreading. I mean,
Yeah.
it really does look like an inferno.
Is inferno, like, is that actually a fair word to use here? What is
Yeah.
it that's making this fire so, like, so intense?
Yeah, I mean, inferno, I think it's fair. It really captures how serious this situation is. We're seeing these really powerful Santa Ana winds. I mean, strongest they've been in over a decade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and these winds, I mean, they're not just strong, they're hot and they're dry. It's just like the perfect conditions for a fire to just explode and spread, you know? I mean, and then you combine that with how dry it's been in California. And, well, I mean, you've got all the ingredients for a truly devastating fire, right?
And we're hearing that 30,000 residents have been ordered to evacuate. One resident, Lori Lubinati, said, and this is a quote, "It's bad. It's like an inferno." So, I mean, what can you tell us about what these people who are evacuating are facing right now?
I mean, it's just chaos, right? I mean, imagine you have to flee your home.
Yeah.
Grab only the essentials. You don't even know if you'll be able to come back, right? The roads, they're completely jammed. People, they're abandoning their cars. I mean, some people are even running away on foot.
Oh, gosh.
It's a desperate situation. And the first responders, I mean, they're doing everything they can, working so hard to help people get out of the path of this fire.
I mean, I saw online, it looks like the Getty Villa is actually being threatened by the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, that's heartbreaking. How do authorities even begin to make decisions about how to save people's lives, but then also try to preserve these, cultural treasures?
I mean, that's got to be one of the toughest decisions.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, at the end of the day, human life, that has to come first.
Of course.
But, I mean, losing a place like the Getty Villa, that would be a huge loss, right? It shows how complicated it is for authorities to be in those situations, right?
Yeah.
Like, do they use all the resources to try to save the villa and risk people's lives? Or do they just, focus only on getting people out and putting the fire out? I mean...
It's just impossible.
Yeah.
And so, as people are fleeing, authorities are also having to make another really tough call, right? They're shutting down power to thousands of homes.
Yeah.
It just seems like, I don't know, it's like a lose-lose situation. What's the thinking behind that?
Well, I mean, Southern California Edison, they're shutting down power lines in areas they think are high risk.
I see.
To stop their equipment from actually sparking new fires. It's more like a preventative measure.
Yeah.
They know that just a tiny spark from a power line could set off a huge fire in these conditions, right? With how dry and windy it is.
Yeah, that makes total sense. But, at the same time, think about what that does to people who are already having to evacuate.
Absolutely.
They're already stressed out, and now they don't even have power. And I read that they're thinking about shutting off power to, like, 400,000 more residents, too.
Yeah, it's a tough choice. And, yeah, the fact that all these people might lose power, it definitely makes things a lot more complicated.
We're seeing reports from residents, and they're saying that this is just terrifying. One resident, George Hutchinson, I think his name was, he was talking about seeing entire houses engulfed in flames. He called it a crazy jumping fire, which, those are powerful words, right?
Yeah.
It's not just a statistic.
Yeah.
These are people's lives, right?
Yeah. These stories, they really show the human cost of this whole thing, the fear, the uncertainty, the fact that people might lose everything. It's like a wake-up call, It shows how powerful nature can be and how vulnerable we are, even in a big city like Pacific Palisades.
You said earlier that these dry conditions and these strong winds, they're making this fire so much worse.
Yeah.
Is this the new normal for wildfires?
Yeah.
And what does that even mean for the future?
It's fascinating in a kind of scary way because climate change might actually be a factor here, right? We know that climate change leads to hotter, drier weather,
right,
and maybe even stronger Santa Ana winds, So yeah, this might be a glimpse into the future. More wildfires, more often, and way more intense, even in places where you wouldn't expect them.
That's not a great thought.
No.
So, what can we even learn from this? How can we get better at preparing for wildfires and making sure they don't get this bad?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? I mean, this is a wake-up call for all of us.
Oh,
We
yeah.
need to think about building things that can withstand these fires.
Yeah.
Making sure communities are better prepared.
Right.
Maybe even rethink how we plan our cities.
Yeah.
And account for the fact that these wildfires are becoming a bigger threat. I mean, and the big one, of course, is climate change. If we want to stop these devastating fires from happening, we have to deal with climate change.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a fact.
I mean, and maybe the most important question here is, how can we, as a community, support each other and rebuild after something like this? I mean, this is still happening right now, but I mean, it's pretty clear that, Pacific Palisades and all of us really have a long road ahead.
Yeah, totally. This is a tragedy.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also a chance for us to learn from this, adapt,
Yeah.
and build a stronger future together.
Okay, so let's
It's
yeah.
it's scary.
Yeah, it's scary.
Thanks for talking about it. I know it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to process. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it goes to show you like how quickly things can change.
Yeah. Thanks for breaking it all down. Yeah, no problem. I mean, it's important to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And, to our listeners, stay safe out there. We'll keep you updated on this and everything else that's
Oh,
happening.
yeah.
All right. Thanks again.
You got it.
See you next time.
See you.